the thoughts that you are having that ripple out into this consciousness that you are attached to, just the way Jade is attached to it, I'm attached to it. It's all knowing. And when you accept that, when you are no longer separated, you are singular, you are a collective, you are a oneness, you get access to everything. When you accept nothing, when you accept you know nothing, you know everything. And that's when the power starts, baby. Perfection. Manifest. The unity of body, mind, and spirit. Realized, bringing heaven to earth. All is one, one is all. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. Welcome, friend.
Thanks, friend.
And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master Sun Queen. What another incredible day.
Mm-hmm.
As we always remind the audience, we remind anyone that will listen how very important it is. Your truth is the only truth that you need to be concerned with. The truth to everything. And here lies the echoing understanding that we have. And that's why it's always so very, very potent how you begin and end your day in prayer, in process, in realization of exactly how you want that to be, how and when and where you realize it, whether it's a manifestation, magic, healing. That's for you to discern, for you to decide how, when, where, and who. The glass half empty, the glass half full. Perception is everything. It is the only thing. It is the truth to your reality. Oh, yeah. So when I say, how are you? And your response is, it's good to be me. That realized into your very essence has a rippling effect, cascading effect into the very simulation that you're experiencing right now. How very important it is to realize your truth as you know it. And to decide what that is, how that is shaped, how it is created into your reality. We've spoken on epigenetics, genetics in of itself, the understanding of that expression. And we reiterate that as that being a major component, one of the pillars, in the very app that we released, the Way 126 Experience. the understanding of, the realization of epigenetics is critical to how powerful and how literal that app has on the very operation, the realization, the communication that you have as the field right here, right now.
I remember one of, not my first job, but I was like 18 and I just turned 18 and I really wanted to become a waitress. You got to be 18. And so I got this job. I only applied to like one restaurant, got the job instantly. And so I'd go to work all the time and I would just be happy. I'd walk in, hey, good morning, John. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you? You know? And there was this one girl there who probably had been working there for 5 years or something. And she was just like, it's just too early in the morning. And can you just like bring it down? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just, so she nicknamed me Sunshine because she was just like, you're like the sun and I can't take it in the morning. And I was. And so I would just come into work and I was excited and it was like, hey, I got this job I really wanted. And this is, I'm doing it and I'm here and I'm learning. And it kind of was just funny because like she honestly was just like, if I came in, she was just like, don't talk to me for 10 minutes because you're too much right now. I just can't. And it's funny to kind of look back on this, the difference between, we both kind of had the same job. We both did the same thing. We both worked in the same environment, yet her perception of being there or, work in itself was so different to mine at the time. And I think that's really a classic example of just the way people look at things and kind of process it, even though they might be doing the exact same thing in the same environment, going through the same motions. Your mindset plays such a huge role. Your thoughts play such a huge role.
The very essence. That brings you to the old expression, you got out on the wrong side of the bed today. And people literally ripple into that very understanding of their reality. That's why we always focus on understanding the beginning and ending of your realized day. And with that, we always use, deep integrated incantations, prayers to start the day, incantations, prayers to the end of the day. And when you're using the way 126, that has very much that understanding, realizing that, using other expansion packs that are also available, that are the morning and evening activation. And so just as Jade speaks on it, the real true inner workings of your reality are determined by your belief system. And here lies a deeper understanding of what we talk about when we talk about the epigenetic model, when we talk about the quantum model. And that, everything is light. Everything is light. And the very truth is the materialization of this flesh and blood that you perceive before your very eyes is nothing more than the fading in and out of what has been coined as a hologram in your realization. So, as we always remind you, wherever your thoughts go, the energy flows. Wherever your attention, intention, things are materialized from light to matter to particle. That is the reality. That is the truth. That is the knowing. And that goes deeper to the quantum model of understanding. And then that, 0 point energy we speak of, that is the field. And so, gene expression, we spoke on it before, but on a much deeper level, everything is numbers, words, letters, symbols. That is integrated into your very DNA, which is the DNA, RNA, stem cell expression realized as the flesh and blood that you see before you. And so, neuroplasticity is not just an idea, it's an understanding. This is the soft tech, the high-tech tool that is realized as this flesh and blood on a cellular level, right down to a photon, is all integrated with this 0-point energy, the black hole energy that is the nucleus of everything that is, the epicenter, the singular, the oneness, the abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite, the truth to everything. And so we talk about you are a product of your environment. Your thoughts turn off and on. Your gene expression is not hypotheses, some anecdotal realization. These are just sort of validated, peer-reviewed, validated research to the truth and origin of the very essence of who you are. So that discovery in the 60s of the double helix that we refer to as the DNA strand, looking deeper inside the humanness that we speak of, the human being, the flesh and blood that you see before you, this realization has come about. Then further discovery, coming to the understanding of the genome, or the genetic code that is implanted into that DNA strand that is materialized as you in flesh and blood form, that is really programmed. It's programmed with what your past generation have given you. Now, what does that mean? Sifu, am I programmed? Does that mean there's a fate for me and what is realized in this reality in this lifetime? Yeah, the fate for you is quite simple. It's for you to decide. What they've come to realize is with this gene expression is a much greater understanding of the epigenome, that the external forces outside of your genes can alter and have your genes express in specific ways that were never even thought of as possible. So everyone has an array of genes that are laid out in the inner workings, the soft technology, the neuroplasticity that is this flesh and blood. And so what does that mean in a nutshell? Sifu. Well, you look at things from face value and everything has a certain genetic code. Everything has a certain gene pool. So a field mouse would have, over 26,000 genes. Human beings are only in the, I think, 24, 25,000. You're like, whoa, hang on, we're supposed to be the most high-tech, evolutionary, state-of-the-art realization in this realm. How is that a field mouse has more genes than we do? But what has been realized and is, mind-blowing is not only do we have these genes in the 20,000, 24,000, something in that nature, we, as the only species, the only living being on planet Earth as we know it right here, right now, have the ability to transmute each one of those genes and have them express in hundreds of different ways at will. Well, what does that mean? It means that you go from 24,000 genes to 400, 500,000 gene expression. That's like mind-boggling. It's like shapeshifters on steroids. It's like you can do anything and everything that you can realize in your imagination through your gene expression. So lean more on what we speak of when we say epigenetics is you're a product of your environment. Your thoughts turn on and off. Your gene expression is exactly as we've stated it time and time again. That's the realization. Now, there isn't another living being on the face of the earth that has the ability to express their genes to, 100-fold, 200-fold. I am being limited by explaining it at this level. Understand this. There will be a realization where it's infinite. And you can hear it here first. Just because big brain on Brad physicist or scientist hasn't brought that information to the world as a validated, peer-reviewed theory or factoid, I'm explaining to you right now my understanding, my true source, my truth teller is very clear. It's infinite. And we ain't even got started yet.
So for everyone out there who's maybe defines environment a little bit differently, when you say epigenetics and you say environment, do you mean it on the small scale of, like we've said many times, you are the master, your truth is the only truth, versus like your inner family, your inner friends, versus like your coworkers where you work, versus like the city you live in, versus the state you live in, versus the country you live in? You kind of keep getting
all of the above.
Get broader with it.
Right. So, I mean, the question is?
Yeah, like when you say you're a product of your environment, are you starting on that small scale of just...
Well, let me...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's everything. What does that mean? So the culture medium, the synthetic version of the realized version, which is your blood, which is in essence the 0 point energy, which is everything interconnected. So the rippling effects of that is that a thought, emotion, and a feeling is what conducts and creates the expression, the DNA expression, the gene expression that is relevant, that is encoded into this soft, high-tech neuroplasticity, which is this pliable, high-tech tool that you call your physical body, that is the DNA that expresses into the very essence of who you are, can be altered with a thought, emotion, and a feeling. And then on top of that, understanding that epi means above. So we're talking about this realized wave to matter to particle realization, flesh and blood, that is your physical body, is altered by your external force. So when you hook up and you're realized as consciousness, as the 0 point energy, as the field, everything is realized instantaneously. Thought, feeling, and emotion evoke the alchemical response, pineal, pituitary, thalamus, creating that fun factory that would be dopamine, cortisol, whatever the circumstance of that thought, feeling, and emotion, that cluster of wave to matter to particle that's realized, that then has the rippling effect of those energies through your blood, sending it to wherever it's necessary to evoke, switch on the genes to express that. The expression of those genes are determined by everything. And so when you realize that you are the field, anything is possible. So you are me, I am you. You are me, I am you. We are all one. So when you're a fear of something, You're in fear of yourself. And that emotion has a gene expression that is realized in an alchemical response. So you have literally the ability to express and expand your genes, or contract and literally break your genes. So of course you want gene expression expanded. Of course you want to realize that things can be dormant. There is no such thing as a cancer gene, just genes that can be expressed and be more dominant in relation to cancer. So if we're talking about a product of your the old expression, the hereditary pool that you were born with, your DNA, your genetics is determined by your past. And this is very true. We'll validate that. This is very true. That your DNA code, as you know it, that you are operating on right now, is a product of, dozens of past generations that are materialized into your very essence right now. The realization now is that, as we know, instantly, when it's realized that you are the field is you, you're able to alter those genes and their expression at will using the blood, the culture medium, to evoke change. So the thought, feeling, and emotion is now rippled out into that energetic code that is realized in this flesh and blood that we see before us. And that gene expression is altered at will by your attention intention. And so the old expression, Johnny, you are who your friends that you hang out with. The old expression, I don't like you hanging out with Bob because he's got bad habits, or Roger's not so friendly, or Jim Bob is a pain in the ass. I don't want you to acquire his bad habits, is so close to home. It is realized the power of that, understanding the epigenetic model. So your gene expression, your genes are the fate of your realized, future. That's a baseline. So if you want to have an experience very similar to your ancestors, i.e. your parents, because they've laid you this genetic pool that is within your DNA strand, that is determined by you. Whatever was in the past, this hereditary, realization that is so false, it's like hurting my brain. Yet you only know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. That realization. So understanding that epigenetics is the external is able to affect the eternal. Oh, excuse me, was that a Freudian slip? Internal, eternal. It's like two of the same, isn't it? So realizing that, and that, when you take a thought, feeling, and an emotion, it has a rippling effect on this soft technology that we call the neuroplasticity, that is your realized flesh and blood wave to matter to particle manifested right here, right now. No matter what your DNA is, whether you've had a DNA profile created on yourself, any sort of like gene code expression, whatever you've done, whether it's realized in actually getting the data, or you just have an idea of what perhaps was before you from your parents' stories about themselves, or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, that starts and ends here. So that neural pathway that you create, that coherence that we speak of, the 0.1 hertz coherence, is The amplifier, the tuning fork is this physical body that is generating your expression. So when you master and tune, the truth teller has a rippling effect through the neural network, the sensory neurons within the heart, that is identical but a smaller network, the same as your brain, syncs up, links up, boom. You'll realize a Shazam, right here, right now, we have go time, however you want it, whenever you want it, because you're now synced, completely synced with the earth and the universe. And so the gene expression, the DNA strands that are operating inside this flesh and blood, that have, like, on average, you can take a bead of DNA on your fingernail and realize that they could hold up to 700 terabytes of information. That's how pliable this soft technology is. 50 trillion cells, 50 trillion atoms inside each cell. We have 0.07 millivolts of electricity. Collectively, we have 3 or 4 trillion volts of electricity. When realized, when maestroed, when attention, intention generates that electromagnetic charge and realizes it and points it in whatever direction you want it to, blammo, we have liftoff, we have a healing, we have a manifestation, we have magic instantaneously. So, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you, is only realized if that is your truth, that is your belief system, that is your knowing.
And what about, so you're basically saying, in summary, that you are not limited by your parents' addictions, your parents' genetic makeup, your parents, whatever that they put into you, habits, characteristics. Now, what if it's something that you choose to want, though? My dad's super successful. I want to be just like him. I want to run my company like him. I want to emulate his, business ethics, his morals, his integrity. Now, is that...
Can you obtain that?
Exactly, without and
1,000,
differentiate between
1,000, but that you see,
pick what you want,
you
let
can,
go what you
oh
don't
my
want.
goodness, 1,000%. Amen to you, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
This is what takes place, is how powerful it is. You can take what you want, leave what you want. Your attention, intention has a rippling effect. Let's go over the cycle of things just one more time. Because as Forrest used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. My mama always said. So, understand this. Know this to be true. The rippling effects of you as the field realized, whether it's 3D or 5D, it's happening all day, every day. That's how you ignite or can create this thought, feeling, and emotion and have it realized on the other side of the world at the same time that you are having it affecting another person instantaneously with your attention and intention. That's how powerful it is. That intricate network that is the 0 point energy, which is the singular, the oneness, the eye in the storm, the stillness that lies within the black hole energy that is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite, the truth to everything, is realized right here as the singular. Now, be very clear. People speak of what is the conception of the realization of everything that we know. People talk back to the Big Bang theory, and that was realized as pure freaking light right here, right now. An ignition that was so freaking hot, it would burn you over and melt you 1,000,000 times. And that was the ignition that created everything that we know, as far as we know. But let's not be limited to and realize that is why they call it a theory. But know that to be true. That rippling effect, that instantaneous phosphorus, super hot white light will be realized anytime you connect, anytime you realize. And so the rippling effects are this: a cognitive spark, a thought, feeling, and emotion realized within the projector create the chemistry that is pituitary, pineal, thalamus, chemistry realized, thought, feeling, and emotion into whatever, whenever it is evoked, whether it's dopamine, whether it's cortisol, whatever the circumstance, whether it is love-based or fear-based, it will be realized into the kinesthetic response that is the feeling, and that rippling effect will be transferred as one in the field. Consciousness is everything. That means you're not limited to what you believe is your projector or your truth teller. These are just manifestations, realizations of light to wave to matter to particle, blammo. This is the simplicity of it, because you are using this as your intention is moving around. It is altering the wave to particle, wave to matter to particle realization of the flesh and blood that you see before you. It is nothing more than that. As it dips in, it dips out. It is constantly elusive in of its making, and that's when you realize certain things that you get a glimpse of. People have these epiphanies. They have these extrasensory perceptive realizations where they may get a clear vision, a clear audio, a clear feeling. They may even get telekinesis. Whatever these extrasensory perceptions that they're having, they're a glimpse. This is what we call the glimpse that you speak of, because they get a taste of it and then it's gone. And that's part of the elusive component that is the 0 point energy, that is everything in between, infinite amount of dots that have this singular, this black hole energy that is infinite, abundant, timeless, endless, limitless. The core of a photon within you all the way up to a cell is realized with this energy. This is the stillness within the storm, the eye of the storm, the wu-ji between the breath in and the breath out, yin and yang, that's realized. The circular fashion that is also mimicked within the event horizon that is a part of the black hole, the lip of what Albert Einstein considers the bending of reality as we create wave to matter to particle materialized into this wade realization that puts pressure on this field, which evokes what we call gravity. The superglue, as I've spoken of, this is all taking place right here, right now. And now your acknowledgement, your realization, now you become the master keeper creator of your reality. Now you are all knowing as one. Ooh, yeah. I think that was Macho Man. I like that. Ooh, yeah. So, you are a product of your environment. You are a product of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And you are also the master keeper creator to alter and shape and create anything you want. That's why Jade and I reiterate over and 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 over this flesh and blood that is realized from DNA to RNA to stem cell to flesh and blood to a realization that is your manifestation of who you are in this realm, in this reincarnation, in this life right here, right now, is being affected instantaneously by the people you hang out with, the thoughts that you are having that ripple out into this consciousness that you are attached to, just the way Jade is attached to it, I'm attached to it. It's all knowing. And when you accept that, when you are no longer separated, you are singular, you are a collective, you are a oneness, you get access to everything. When you accept nothing, when you accept you know nothing, you know everything. And that's when the power starts, baby. Oh, yeah. That all-knowing power, because we're all connected to this consciousness. It's all-knowing, anything and everything that has ever existed in the face of this consciousness from the Big Bang Theory, the realization of everything as we know it, the spark, the cognitive spark that we speak of, that realization takes place. And so she's looking at her consciousness from this angle. Excuse me, Mame. Jade is looking at her consciousness from this angle. I'm looking at my consciousness from this angle. Who's right or wrong? Give me the answer, yes or no. Quickly. We're both right. And it's forever dynamic. It's never static. It's never stagnant. It's forever dynamic. It is constantly pulsating. And that's that rippling effect of the field. And so the second you realize something, because consciousness is all-knowing, you are consciousness. The second you realize it, realizing that all thoughts of your mind are not yours, it manifests into wave to particle to matter, or wave to matter, particle, half a dozen, 1/6 of the other. And it's interconnected with that black hole energy. And that's how your ability to access the entanglement that is the quantum, the oneness, becomes realized. That power. That she can be here, I can be here. Jay could be here, I can be here. Jay could be on the other side of the world, I could be here. I can still, through a thought, feeling, and emotion, with my attention, intention, manifest, heal, cast magic instantaneously affecting her on a subatomic level, because that's consciousness, baby. Right here, right now.
So what would you say, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, for people who are like just stumbled across this, just starting to get the information, and they're like, I'm going to be more conscious about, the food I eat. I'm going to be more conscious about, the clothes I wear, what they're made out of, what the material is, or what, a lot of, I think the kind of popular thing is like, what's in my products, what type of chemicals, and I feel like that people are really starting to kind of be aware of like what's in my food, the ingredients, what's in my cleaning products, what's in my, the toxins. That's kind of a popular thing that I think people get a little bit started on. And then it's like, where is that in the relation of like the epigenetics, the consciousness?
Right.
Is that where somebody should start?
Well, the validator, which is what we keep reiterating, that's why the Wave 126 is so powerful, and it realizes you as the field instantaneously creating brain waves, the realization, the rippling effects of the kinesthetic response from a visual audible experience is how you are realizing the feeling, because everything is the feeling. Everything is a thought, feeling, and emotion. So, what the nutshell is you can be mindful of who you hang out with. You can be mindful of the spaces that you occupy. You can be mindful of the food that you eat. You can be mindful of the clothes that you wear. You can be mindful of what you expose yourself to. Understand this, know this to be true. The only thing you need to be concerned with is the truth as you know it. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. So, Seafood, what are you saying? What I'm saying is, you can exercise, you can eat well, you can wear organic clothes, you can stay out of the sun, you can do all these things that have an effect on your gene expression without question. But if you don't commit to the realization of knowing over thinking, all that will be null and void, because your belief system is the very core essence of the only thing that is the infrastructure, the foundation that holds your realization, The foundation of your house, your realization of your house, is your belief system. So what's playing in the shadows of your unconscious to your conscious, the merging of those two, is how you master everything. You become the master keeper, creator of it all. How do you do that, Sifu? I have no idea. Now, if you come across some pretty badass Taoists in your path, now, I don't know where you would find Taoists of any kind, but let's just say you stumbled across a Taoist channel on YouTube or Instagram, and there happened to be these two Taoists, strangely, really oddly. There's probably a coincidence, but just imagine if you came across these Taoists. One's named Jade, the other one's San Quinn. What are the chances of that? And if you did discover this random channel with Jade and San Quinn, and all of a sudden you realized that they were offering you the keys to the city, the mastery of yourself in every way, shape, or form, master, keeper, creator, that realization, that knowing, to validate your truth as you know it, the only truth that you need to be concerned with, then you are going in the right direction, my friends. Because the most powerful, ancient, soft tech tool that you have possession of is this flesh and blood that you see before you, realized, manifested into the very physical body that you recognize as the mirror image of yourself. So understand that epigenetic model. It's what's above the gene. That is the external force that is altering your gene expression. And that can also go in line with not just clothes, not just food, not just exercise, not just being in a certain environment. What else is external? Your thoughts. Oh, what? What are you talking about? I heard it. You heard it here first. It's coming right out, right here, right now. Thoughts, feeling, and emotions have the rippling effects on your very DNA, your gene expression. You're the only badass on the face of the universe as we know it, outside of what we're potentially realizing are aliens of some kind. But let's just not go to the alien part right at this point. Let's just realize you are still the biggest badass in the universe. Understand, you laid out with 24,000 genes. I would like to say 27. Let's just say there's 27,000 genes laid out within the very essence of your humanness. Understand that you can express any one of those genes to an infinite. What are you saying, Sifu? Are you saying that we are eternal, immortal beings having a human being experience that could possibly be expressed as immortality? Yes. Booyah.
Well, I mean, that's basically, in essence, the idea of reincarnation, of, coming back for another life, learning a new, whatever you need to learn in that next life, then to move on to your next, then to move on to your next, to transcend into your next. I mean, that in itself is massively popular, that theory or belief system or idea.
Belief system. It's a knowing.
Or knowing. However you perceive it.
Because that's your perception. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. And that's that realization. So the neural network, the neuroplasticity, because things are pliable, because you can manipulate your gene expression with your thought, feelings, and emotions, meaning that you can turn them on and off. And as the field, you're all knowing, you're all powerful. You affect anything and everything at will. That's the truth. That's the reality. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're no longer the observer standing back and watching the painting on the wall. You are the artist. You are drawing every stroke. You are, creating every line, every color, every symbol.
Right.
You are the artist.
And that is why we reiterate, your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. So what does that mean, Sifu? What are you talking about? It means that you can commit to the idea of until you know you are thinking. The knowing is the feeling. If you are feeling, you are knowing. And that's why we keep reiterating it over and over and over again in this channel. The power of your neurology, the power of this flesh and blood, the DNA, the RNA, the stem cell, the reincarnation, the nucleus that is the black hole energy within every part of who you are in essence, from a photon all the way up to a cell, flesh and blood here before you, is this realization. And so your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. I say it again, I'll say it all over, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000,000 times over, because that commitment to your knowing is whether you are on or off. It's as simple as that. Whether it's a theory or a knowing, whether it's a hypothesis or a reality, this is on you. It begins and ends with your perception of your reality. Your sensory perception is dictated by your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which then have a rippling effect on your gene expression. The epigenetic model is realized. When you are the field, you are realized as all-knowing. When you accept you know nothing, you know everything. That's why the kinesthetic charge is the validator. That's why we show you day in, day out on this channel through very simplistic exercises how much the kinesthetic charge, the ignition, is realized. Me just talking about it, playing with it like it's Play-Doh. You have Jade going, oh, you could feel that. And if you spend a second, you will feel that at home. That is the realization. Using the neural network that you have within your physical body that's hooked up as a realized manifestation of the field, you're the puppet master. You are the master. You are the puppet master. Mm-hmm. Can you dig it?
Yeah. It's like we're just giving you the recipe and the ingredients, and you have to go and actually make it and do it for the first time and realize, oh my goodness, I just made a cake and it tastes amazing and this is incredible. And that's the understanding and the feeling that you can do it. You have the ability for it. We're just giving you the tools, the recipe, the ingredients. Now you take all of that, you put it into your consciousness and have it transmute for yourself. And that's that feeling, that knowing, that excitement from the realization that, I'll say it, oh shit, I can do this.
Right.
Oh my God, I have legs, I can walk.
Right.
Someone showed me how to do it, and guess what? I'm walking.
Right.
What, who knew?
Right.
And guess what? And now I never stop.
Right. And so we're coming to this realization of how powerful that is with this gene expression. And when we talk about epigenetics, we talk about your attention, intention, your ability to turn on and off the genes, be the master of your 50 trillion cells within the 50 trillion atoms within each cell, 0.07 millivolts of electricity collectively over 3.5 trillion volts right here, right now, accessible to you with this mastery, knowing that you are the field. The field is you. You are the field. You are one with everything. The 0 point energy realized within the singular, that is the black hole. The event horizon that is realized as the bending of reality. The spooky event that my buddy Albert Einstein realized as two photons coming together in an expression that looks very similar to what we call, oh my goodness, a yin and yang. Oh yeah, baby. We're on it. We're on it before, after, and during, and to the past, present, and future. Taoists are the biggest, baddest mofos when it comes to energy, because we know it. Now, my realization of that, we can go way back. We're going to start going into interviews with a lot of our teachers, and we'll get first-hand source information. And it's realized. And as we know, the deeper we look into the Big Bang, and it's a theory, let's just say anything is possible at this point. But know this to be true. That's not where it starts and ends. There is no start or end of anything. Mm-mm. This is a deeper, 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 infinite, abundant, timeless, endless, limitless. But know this, at this point as we know it, human beings in this flesh and blood form that is realized right now with the DNA, the RNA, the stem cells, the realization of what it is that you see before us, the protein-making machines that we are, has been around in this form for over 200,000 years. Now, I would, 200, 270,000, 300. I'm a nines guy. I always will be. That's an affinity. Symbols, numbers, words, letters. This is realized. The most powerful number is 9 for a reason. I can tell you this here first, right here, right now. The theory of 200,000 years will be 270,000, will be 360,000, will be realized as infinite. That is the truth. That is the reality. Right here, right now.
Well, energy is our language, just like, scientists get really excited when they have a hypothesis and they prove this and they go in the lab and they test it and they see the evidence of it, just like mathematicians when they have an equation and they realize it works for all these things, create an algorithm. Energy is our language. That's what we speak of. That's what excites us when we see the energy, when we feel the energy, when we hear the energy, all of those senses. That is our language of our knowing, and how we, take these ideas and prove them as a knowing.
That's that kinesthetic response that Jade and I speak of over and over and over and over again, because that's the realization for you to determine what is true and what is not. That's the validator. When you have a physiological response, all bets are off. Game over. That's it, realized. And that's why we talk about the linguistics. We talk about the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And that right down into that is a prayer pattern that is realized right into like computer coding. I don't even want to go there, but I mean, we're talking about a coding that operates the very systems that they lay out here before you, whether it's a laptop, a computer, desktop, whether it's the internet. All this stuff is encoded with incantations, linguistics. We operate on that. We gravitate to numbers, we gravitate to letters, we gravitate to words, we gravitate to symbols, we gravitate to sounds. All this stuff is realized. So when we talk about epigenetics, thought, feelings, and emotions, the sounds around you, the environment, the product of your environment is you, the very essence of who you are.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts. Where it ends is the limits of your belief system. If you have any, if you don't have any limits, you are limitless. You are the field. You are realized. You are all powerful, all knowing. Yeah.
I think that's good to go over that, because I think environment is an interesting, can be a subjective kind of thing when you say that. So clarifying that a little bit more for people, even for myself, I think is really powerful to know that it all starts with you and then has this rippling effect outward. Because I think so many people kind of go like, well, I am conscious. I'm a good person. I recycle. I bring my reusable grocery bags to the grocery store. You know what I mean? And it's kind of
right.
these like little, and they're like, I do my part. I donate.
And these are all mechanisms that are realized in their reality. Understand this, know this to be true. An excellent point that Jade brings up here is that realization, because these are all parts of the architecture of the foundation of your house that you determine what your truth is. And so I still have these people today that want to argue Newtonian physics. They want to argue the difference between, thinking and knowing, which I like to just determine that. Thinking is Newtonian physics. Knowing is quantum. And understanding that and all these rippling effects that take place. And Jade makes a very, very valid point. So when we're talking in, epigenetics above the gene, we're talking about thoughts, feelings, and emotions, man. And to how quickly to realize that synchronicity of the heart, gut, and brain being the all three dantians synergized, synchronicity, shlamo, damo, shazamo, making that synchronized with the earth and the universe a 0.1 hertz frequency, and it all comes from an emotion. Now, let's not encapsulate the most operative word that seems to be most fashionable is to be authentic and unapologetic. Let me say that one more time. Authentic and unapologetic. Look, it's a mouthful. Unapologetic. That's the truth. So when you are realizing that to create that synchronicity of 0.1 hertz, and it is a coherent state that is realized, how quickly you do that, and this is ancient stuff, guys. We sync the heart, we sync the earth with the sun and the moon. Within Taoism, to realize the universe is inside us. We are the one, we are the field is us. When you create that coherence that we speak of, that emotional expression that expresses your genes, which activates your longevity genes that give you all the feel-good chemistry that is created by the emotion, you encapsulate love. People say love. Look, love is subjective, like anything else. Love could be razor blades and bunny rabbits. Who knows what it is to whoever it is? But realize this, when you become more generalized with gratitude, it's so easily accessible. Appreciation, acceptance. These are very accessible states that people can quickly realize if you're attempting to create that coherence. Now, if you really want to get down to the nuts and bolts and be the field is you, then Way 126 experience is a visual audible experience creating a kinesthetic charge that is the go time, which is the Shazam, that is realized as the field. You are the field is you, all is one is all, evoking the brain wave, creating the realization. The kinesthetic response is go time, manifestation, healing, magic, whatever it is to you, make it happen. But your neurology does not lie. Your neurology will speak to you. Your neurology will show you the truth. And that's why you can validate it any moment, at any time, using the Way 126 experience. Every day you can measure your power instantaneously. Oh, yeah.
And when we always say that this app is tailored to the individual, that's what we're speaking of, because it's tailored to your own consciousness level, your own value system, your own subjective idea, mindset, belief system, whatever you want to say. We get people who message us all the time and they're like, oh, I really want to level up. I want to open my consciousness. What do I do? This? And it's like, we've created this system so that it does work with everyone, because it works with your belief system. So what might work for me might not work for you, might not work for someone down the street, might not work for a new user. But with this system, the way it works with your own neurology, you are going to have that feeling, you are going to have that level up, you are going to have that awakening of consciousness, because it's working and designed specifically for you. And I think
Well, there's no two experiences are the same. It works.
no,
It
it's
works with the
not.
unconscious, bringing the conscious and unconscious, merging it as one. That's the realization. That's why it's unique to your experience, and it will be morphed to your experience and your experience alone. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. Understanding that the unconscious is perceiving and realizing things and operating in an autonomous state, and you measure and merge the two, become aware of everything, and that's that realization, and it begins and ends with the kinesthetic response. That's how you validate it. That's how it's true to you. That's why if you have five senses and the neurology of a human being, you will be affected by the way 126, and that's the whole point of it, because the visual and audible experience, leading on the fundamentals of quantum physics, the fundamentals of epigenetics, the fundamentals of ancient practices within Taoism that are Nigong, Qigong, 11 herbs and spices, proprietary to the experience. These are all ancient rituals that have been realized. This is why they're so powerful. This is why understanding linguistics, understanding prayer, understanding incantation is so powerful for you as an individual. This is why the rippling effects of this stuff has such a profound effect on you. You hit play and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how sedated I am, how relaxed. I feel like 5 days of the Bahamas, 3 pina coladas and a full body massage, is because your neurology speaks to you. It's undeniable. Now, if you're an alien, perhaps maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But guaranteed, if you're a human being, 5 senses, neurology, neuroplasticity, that is your flesh and blood, that is the DNA that is expressed as you, as a materialized wave to matter to particle that is expressed as you as a human being, you will be affected by this material, and you will be able to level up, and you'll be able to train your neurology, creating new synapses, energy, information highways of the brain that is realized in the mastery of you as a master keeper creator of your reality, and you're able to affect change instantaneously using your attention, intention into what is the field. And so that's the power of this stuff. That's the understanding of it. So no two experiences are the same. Everything is unique and tailored to you. And it morphs and molds to your very experience, your very essence, your very perception of your reality, leveling up that perception, sensory perception, that gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger every day that you do it. Every second that you spend, every minute that you spend is never to waste. It is utilized and it is realized in your ability to master the state you're in. That is the power of this stuff. All powerful, all knowing, and instantaneous, because that's how neurology works. It's not mustered up over days, months, and years. You will be able to measure your results instantaneously. And that's the power of it. That's so very important to you as a human being, as you operate in this understanding of once you start something, you must finish it. Critical. What you must start, you must finish. Essential to your realization.
Yeah, it's like, going bungee jumping or something. You don't go, they push you off the ledge or you jump off the ledge. You don't feel it like, oh, wow, I really felt that 2 months later. It's like, no, it's instantaneous.
Right.
You feel it.
Right. And that's part of why the epigenetic model is so powerful. Mm-hmm. And then the integration of that as the field, that 0 point energy that's realized, that rippling effect that comes instantaneously within the entanglement that is the quantum, you're able to affect change instantaneously because we are moving at light speed. We are moving beyond light speed. That's how you can realize an instant healing, an instant manifestation, an instant casting of magic. That's what takes place. So, when we speak of this, when we go over it, we realize that our belief system is the core epicenter foundation of everything that is your realization of what your truth is. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. That's it, be all or end all. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. You want magic. You want magic. You want manifestation. You want healings. That's where it starts. And to validate that is the kinesthetic charge. That's it. Be all or end all. And so, how do you acquire that mastery? Well, you come to the right place. Mm-hmm. You be up in here. You be in the right place. You be with your people up in here. Realize that. Know that to be true. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing for tens of thousands of years. Mastery of that energetics. Mastery of that realization of the field, the oneness, the universe, Tao, quantum, Allah, Buddha, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. That mastery is happening right here, right now. And that's why I can speak on it, I can talk on it, and you can feel it. Just like my intention is just putting a little bit of time to it, knowing that we're winding this up right now. I'm going to turn to my incredible co-host here, the divine, delectable Jade, with any closing comments or thoughts and feelings on this incredible mystery ride that we created today, to be able to validate what is the core of your understanding of your product, of your environment. Moreover, this gene expression that we speak of, that we did the last time, is being realized within a thought, feeling, and an emotion. And then we're going to just jack it up with the power of prayer, and how quickly you're going to realize that bad boy, because I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's good for people to just kind of get an understanding and realize that everything starts with consciousness, and everything opens and evolves with consciousness. And I think it's easy to kind of get stuck on these very compartmentalized things of, daily human life, and just realize that, it all starts with, like you said, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. Everything is encapsulated into that. And that is kind of this infinite way to open your consciousness, level up your consciousness, awaken your consciousness. That we always get asked, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? How do I do it? What should I do first? And it's like, it all starts with that. And of course, we've created an app to help anybody who really wants that, and to level up and become the master at it. And, clarifying that so that, it's all here. It's all around you all the time.
100. Booyah. So with that said, I will have you as the participating audience of this incredible realization, because this is an example of epigenetics right now. You're going to be affected by your environment that I'm giving to you right here, right now, right as we speak, as I speak on it, and that bubbling, percolating, oscillating, reverberating experience that is the energy that is somehow materializing within your physical body. What a mysterious thing that is, Sifu. How are you doing that? Are you a magician? Yeah, I'm a magician of the truth teller magician, the truth teller realization of the power of how powerful you are right here, right now. Because that's your interconnection. That's the oneness that you speak of. You are realized in a 5D reality right now. You're experiencing this energy going, holy crap, how is that possible? Because you are 5D, baby. 5D. Right up in here. And so what better way? We speak on, the ancient power of prayer that's been rippling for thousands, 10,000 years before us in all different types of indigenous practices. For example, Taoism, we use that. What are the two Lao Gong points? We call them Lao Gong points because there's more neural, soft neuroplasticity, neural, like interwaved like interconnection within your palms, feet, and your face. So these are always the first realized places of energetic pulsation. Okay? And so just me doing this, you're like, oh, geez, Sifu, please don't do this. Oh, I'm going to do it, baby. Oh, yeah. And so taking your hands like this, and the audience can do it, and it's already realized because we're all interconnected. It's like, hang on a second. He's just doing that, and my hands are kind of like mitts. It's kind of crazy how much energy is here. It's all being transmitted at once. How is that possible? Because I am the Sifu. And so, what better way to interconnect from a very ancient Taoist practice? You take the yin and the yang, because everything is separated that way before it is realized as the Wu Ji, as the stillness, as the oneness, as the singular. So the yin and the yang, you place them together. Oh, yeah. And so we are going to use that as the amber of this realization today. And yes, you're like, oh my goodness, why is there so much energy? Because I want it to be a lot of energy. And you're receiving what I'm giving you. Because you're experiencing the rippling effects of epigenetics, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. The power of being one with everything. You are being I am you. And then as I speak on it and using these words, these magical words, as I say, realize more energy in your hands. What are the chances of that? Realize even more energy in your hands. What are the chances of that? Realize even more heat in your hands. What are the chances of that? Thicker and thicker and thicker. What are the chances of that? How is that possible, Sifu? Are you a magician? Oh, yeah. Now that we have created that interconnection, I always dismiss the old school Mr. Miyagi, rub the hands until you generate some type of chi, because that's the fastest way for a human being to realize you are all powerful. You do not need some type of like snake oil salesman trick about creating friction between your hands to generate energy. You are all powerful, all masterful. You are the field. When you think it, you command it, it becomes so. Oh, yeah. And so now I'm going to have you inhale and exhale with a vigorous power, and you're going to inhale and then you're going to exhale into the palm of your hands. And you're going to do it 9 times following my lead. And at the last time, you're going to hold it for an 18 count and then exhale. Did he say 18? I don't know why I could do it. Of course you can. All those 126s out there, you know it's possible. You know you are the field. Yeah, the heat's getting up. Let me spatter a little bit more magic dust on there. Oh, you like that? Just me going, well, let me try this again. And you can have the aha sources eyes open going, how the hell is he doing that from the other side of a camera somewhere else in the middle of nowhere in the quantum when he exhales? You tell me what you're feeling. That's right. Let me do it again. Holy moly, how is that possible? Because we're all interconnected, and I'm using your neural pathways interconnected within this incredible field that we call the 0 point energy. That's why what happens to me happens to you instantaneously. He's sounding psychic and all-knowing. You bet your ass I am. Oh. Now, follow my lead. Into the palm of your hands. Again. Another one. Another one. Again. 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 One more. Hold it. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Ooh. Now repeat after me. This is a powerful incantation you can repeat, you can write down, you can continue to use on a daily basis. Are you ready? Connected with all that is, I am the field. The field is me. I am all-knowing. That is my realization. That is my truth as I know it. The only truth I need to be concerned with, realized right here, right now. Ooh. And just to help you along to seal that in, because sealing that, this is what we call within Taoism, chi packing. And encapsulate that, infuse that into the very essence of who you really are. You can come back to this video, use that incantation, use it on a daily basis. It will become more realized. Every second that you use it, it will become more realized, more powerful, more in tuned and imprinted into your very essence, right down to a subatomic particle, or as big as the consciousness that you are, all-knowing as the field. The field is you, all-knowing as consciousness and everything that is. And if you slowly bring your hands apart, and you take a second, and then you realize how thick those mitts are, as if you're wearing gloves. That's your energy, baby, all yours, created and realized right here, instantaneously as the field. You're accessing that 0 point energy that is you, inside out you, realized as your flesh and blood. And you are channeling it, you are mastering it, you are focusing it on your attention, intention, making it real to you. Oh yeah, now just sort of palpate it. And I'm going to put a nice big energy ball right in between your hands, and then you just palpate it and realize, oh my goodness, what are the chances? Now if you take your fingers like tuning forks that they are, and you point them to the center, and then slowly move them towards the center, and you tell me what you experience. Nice and slow. When it's slow, too slow, it's not slow enough. Now slowly move it back. Now, you can go to the bottom of this video when you're done and leave a comment, thoughts, experiences of exactly what you experienced after doing this particular exercise. I already know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. Oh my goodness. Oh. How's that for you, Jade?
Yeah, I mean, it's so dense.
That's your realization. And on that note, I would like to thank my divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade.
Yeah, thank you. I'm buzzing.
You're welcome. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. And I will see you on the next one, guys.